Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Jag here. So currently it is still Monday, April 28th. Um, it is now lunchtime. I believe it's just about maybe 1:10 p.m. Our lunch period is for like 50 minutes. Um, so we kind of have to eat really quickly and get back inside for period three. Period three starts at 12 or 1:45 p.m. I'm currently just sitting in my car. What I usually do is come outside and sit in my car and eat my lunch like really quickly within like maybe 10-15 minutes. Um, I know the staff room gets a little bit crowdy at this time. I think a lot of the teachers, I know the elementary teachers do rotate in terms of like when they take their lunch period, but still, I think there are just a lot of people in that room all together. And I remember one time I came outside and I saw a couple of teachers sitting in their cars, and I was just like, I thought they were going to go out for lunch. And then later on, I spoke to them, and they're like, no, um, they just actually come outside and sit in their cars during their break time, or I think during their lunch period. Usually, I think the kindergarten grade one teachers, they usually have to eat lunch with the children, so someone has to be supervising them at all times. Um, for the high school division, I know we have myself, there are two other teachers, and they usually supervise the students at lunchtime, and so does our high school coordinator. So I think we don't need all the teachers to be supervising the students during the lunch period. So I think I'm okay for now. But of course, if they need some more help, I can definitely be supervising at lunch as well. But yeah, so that's all that is up. And at 12:45, period three is going to start, and I'm teaching again, like I mentioned, physics 11. I think we're moving on. Yeah, so last week they did have their unit test on Thursday, and then on Friday they had a trip, so it was kind of like an off day. Um, Today in physics 11, we're going to be starting our new unit, which is going to be all about like work, how to calculate work. And it's really good because I know in elementary school, in grade 7 and 8, the students do learn about work equaling force times distance. Just the questions will be a bit more complicated. However, for physics today, we didn't have time last week, but we are going to be doing a really quick like egg experiment where students are going to kind of build just kind of like layers of like, like kind of like a platform where the eggs can be dropped onto. So what we were talking about last week was basically the importance of safety bags and like, importance of wearing your seat belts at all times while you're driving. And the egg is kind of going to represent, I think, like a crash dummy. Okay, and we're going to actually throw the eggs from different, or drop them, not throw them, drop them from different heights to see if the egg will crack. And students have to actually build kind of like a platform to ensure that the eggs don't actually crack once they drop them. And I think we're looking at various heights, maybe like 1 meter, 1.5 meters, 2 meters. We're just going to use like a meter stick for them to actually make the platform. I did tell them they can bring in other materials and stuff. We'll probably use like construction paper or something like that. It's very thick, so you can use different like layers of it. And I think we will do that outside in the parking lot. I know students have a lot of fun doing certain experiments and stuff. However, we are limited with our lab time, I think, this year, because the science lab is also being used in terms of like, for, I believe, the elementary students using it for art. So it's also like has been transformed kind of into an art room. So we do have to request like the days that we need to do the labs. So I do have to let my coordinator know. I think he said at least 2 weeks in advance. So maybe within like, I think this last month or so, we will definitely be using the lab a little bit more. not just for physics 11 but for chemistry 12 as well. So I think that would be a lot of fun. This year the high school students do have to do we're gonna have like a science fair, which seems like a lot of fun. I think they'll get into it once they start putting their poster on the Bristol board together within next week. It's going to be next Friday, which is May 9th, I believe, and the science fair is going to be taking place in the gym. So for my chemistry 12 class, I gave them specific topics, as well as for physics 11. I think for physics 11, I allowed them to do it as a group. For grade 12 students, I believe they can actually do the projects all on their own. Topics are very simple, and they're topics like basically related to our science courses. So basically the science fair is compulsory for all students. They do have to make their own project, and then during the science fair, as the teachers go around, so I believe the teachers will probably just be the judges. So the teachers will walk around and we're going to basically judge them based on their research and what they're presenting to us. And in that respect, I'm going to actually be marking them because it's my grade 11s and grade 12s. So I'll be marking them, and that's actually going to go into their actual like grade for the course that they're taking. Because like I said, it is mandatory for all students to be participating in the science fair. And I believe the other teacher is teaching grade 12 physics as well, and he's also teaching grade 11 math. The other teacher, he's teaching social science, but I believe for even the social science courses, the students were given a topic and they're going to be doing that for the science fair. So it's something, it sounds like a lot of fun actually. It's something we haven't done before. I know U of T is actually holding kind of like a science fair as well, which is actually optional for the students. If they don't want to participate in that, I believe that's okay. But it's also a really good opportunity, I think, for them to get out and, you know, do like some research on specific topics, especially these real life applications. I think are really important for them to kind of like learn, right, about why we're teaching like these specific concepts. So I think that would be actually really good for them. I think this week and next week I'm going to be giving students some class time to be working on their projects, as of course it is going to go into their marks. So they do have to put in a good deal of effort in order to get like a really good mark. Of course, it's also going to be like a presentation. They're going to be presenting it to like the judges. So that will probably be just myself and like the other teachers. So the presentation skills also have to be, I think, like really good. I know some students were complaining, but I think, like I said, as soon as I give them a little bit more time in class to work on their projects, I think they'll definitely get into it. All right, so I think I've been talking for quite a bit. I'm going to actually just like eat my lunch. I just made like a quick egg sandwich in the morning, like I had mentioned. So I'm gonna eat that and maybe head on inside. I do like actually coming into work rather than maybe like, you know, working online like we were during COVID. I think I just felt very socially isolated. I really do like talking to other people. The other teachers are very nice and very friendly. For the high school students here, we are actually only allocated like 3 rooms because this whole building is actually like for the elementary students. And I believe maybe like next year or so, they're actually going to build a separate building for the high school students. This is actually the only reason that, you know, we're not recruiting as many students into Trillium School right now, like at the high school level. But I know there are a lot of local students who want to actually come to Trillium as well. So that would definitely be, I think, a solution to the problem. Students also have their lunch right now. But I think overall it's like a really good experience. We definitely have like, you know, like a trip planned every month. So next month, I believe we're going to be going treetop trekking, which we did do last year as well. And I think students had a lot of fun. But I know last year I had like a wrist injury. I wasn't able to really participate too much. My wrist was throbbing with pain. But if you've ever been treetop trekking, it is definitely a lot of fun, I think, for the kids. And then in June, we definitely have Wonderland, our Wonderland trip planned out. It's an annual trip, always takes place in June. I think, which is usually like, you know, a graduation kind of trip. I remember last year, students complained quite a bit, and we actually had the Wonderland trip twice, I believe, in like May and in June. So it's just a lot of fun. Of course, the teachers do have to just supervise the students, or like just like a group of students, to ensure nothing goes wrong. Students have all the teachers like numbers as well, so just in case there's some kind of an emergency, they can contact myself or like, you know, the other teachers that would be supervising the trip at the same time. All right, so I think that is good, and I'm just gonna eat really quickly, go on inside, and maybe talk to some of the teachers for just a little bit, and just make sure everything is prepped, okay, for our afternoon egg experiment for physics. I did want to kind of extend the experiment, and actually have them, you know, build like, you know, like a car where you could put the egg inside, which acts as a dummy, and then we can try and crash the car to see how safe the car is that they built. But of course, I know we'd have to put like, you know, the seat belts and stuff like that, to see, right, how safe it is with the seat belts on. And I think the eggs also, like, you know, tend to crack quite a bit. Like, even if you just mishandle the eggs a little bit, okay, it will crack very easily. But for today's experiment, like I said, we're just going to be dropping the egg, or different the eggs from different heights, just to see how well their actual launch pad is. So I believe it's called the launch pad, but it's basically just where the egg is going to be landing. All right, so thanks for tuning into this video. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.